The great John Pulman, who was 10 years a world champion, used to say, he said he's cooing like a symphony orchestra.
His concentration is the thing that I like. He's cueing beautifully as well, obviously. He's got everything going for him. His safety is still extremely tight. And I do remember an instance, may have been one of those times when he made 5 centuries. I remember him making 3 in succession against Peter Ebdon a few years ago, the year he reached the final. He was beaten by John Higgins. And it was the first time we'd seen that sort of form from him. I think he's an even better player now. His all-round game is there.
He's got everything, Mark Selby. The only thing he hasn't got is a world championship. And if he keeps playing like this, he'll give himself a great chance this year.
Well, he certainly will. I mean, I must admit, I have seen 4 or 5 outstanding performances from other players. So it's not about any one player this time around. But he has to be right up there, because you feel that even on a maybe a bad session, which of course every player is going to have, he will find a way of grinding out the result. And on a good day like this, he'll just keep knocking in big breaks. So it's all there.
69.
It's the first to 13, remember, and every chance that this match could finish with a session to spare. He would need 3 of the remaining 4 frames in this session to do that.
So very, very good stuff, this, all the way through the session. He's won 3 frames out of the first 4. And Mark Selby marches on, and he leads Stephen Hendry by as many as 10 frames to 2.
He holds his hand up, and when things are going well, they go really well. And one good positional shot on the brown, as we show you that lovely little fluked plant, it has to be said. You can get on the red above the black spot, he'll be in amongst them again. And this looks just about perfect. And if he's finished in such a way, he can pop the red, nudge that other red out of the way to clear the black spot area. And there's the angle.
6.
When things run well for you, it can be an easy game.
It's a pretty big fluke. I mean, he wasn't even trying an awful lot with that safety shot. Had no idea of the plant, but you have to take it when you come your way. Over the course of a career, there's a few shots that go against you that you never forget. And you have to remember the ones that do work out for you.
.21.
That's what on earth happened there. It's so short of speed, and I don't know, he's laughing about it. I'm not sure I know what went wrong. How can he finish so short of position? He played it with a touch of side. There was no side to it. It was just almost like a miss hit, wasn't it? Strange one. This is very thin now, this black. Quite amazing. Good recovery, although he's got now something at long range. That was such a long way out of where he wanted to be on it.
He's got one at long range, and he's got a gap that he can take the cue ball through in the middle of the reds there. So don't be surprised if he doesn't pot this, and he may finish on the blue if he can't hold for the black. Well, he didn't intend to cannon into the black. This one's much thinner than the previous black he cut in. He was looking for the gap there.
Yeah, I think it does cut. It's very thin. I suppose if he misses it, he'll certainly cover it for the red that's just above and to the left of the black, but it might not be safe for other pockets. And he just keeps knocking in balls. Ever since he went out of position, the last few shots have been all at long range. There's going to be another one now. So it's not one of his finest breaks so far, starting with a fluke and then kind of no real cue ball control.
Mark Selby, 37.
Well, that was quite an ambitious shot that Mark decided to take on there, bridging over the yellow.
One.
The only thing in his favour with the last missed pot was he knocked the black towards the side cushion, which makes it a little bit more difficult for Stephen Hendry. Now let's see where the pink goes. Stephen just come round to see if it pops into the left corner pocket, which will be a help. We'll find out with his next shot how he plays the position, whether the pink's available. It obviously is, and he's got an angle here to play this with a lot of topspin and split those 5 reds. That's the angle. Cueing above centre near the top of the white, push the cue through.
It's a good shot. The only problem is it hasn't really cleared the pink spot because it doesn't really go anywhere. So I have to play with a touch of side up for the blue.
15.
The table's not quite as inviting as it looks, with a couple of the high colours not really on at this stage. He could get on the black, I suppose, and he could also pot a red just below and to the right of the pink, which would free that slightly.
I think what he wants to do here, he wants to just let Mark Selby know that he's still around, because I think Mark took a little bit of a liberty with that last shot, bridging over the yellow. It was a bit risky, and it might just have sparked something off in Stephen Hendry, because it was definitely the risk against the shot he took on. If he had been level, I don't think he would have entertained it. You know, he's going into the reds, there's no guaranteed position, so he just, you know, it was a bad choice.
Mark Selby.
He only missed the one pot there, as we showed you that
26.
risky attempt. He's going to have to leave a tricky red, the one to the left of the pink. He's got to make sure he doesn't leave the brown a little awkward. That's why he's leaning over there, just to make sure he doesn't leave himself hampered with the brown. Just shows the importance of getting the correct side of the blue. got to find the path
32.
past the reds here. Got a choice of colours to play on. He didn't play for this, but he'll take it. That cannon has left him nicely on the black.
I should think he will take that. He's left him with as easy a shot as you could have on the black from where it was. Bit of work still to be done.
40.
Those couple of reds have to be developed, I think. They're up the table. Needs them both, but he can do it here. Now he can play the little nudge on the two reds and hold for the one below from this black. He won't play it at any speed. But it's a shot that will win in the frame. And that's alright, he's got to get the spider out, but I don't think that's too bad.
48.
Yeah, the fact he has very little to do with the cue ball. That's what Neil was talking about there. Especially if the red's straight, then he doesn't have to come off the cushion. Well, he may have to just come off the cushion looking at that angle. But no real
14.
problem. What's he got himself? 12 points in front. Those two reds with two colours would see him over the line in this frame. Oh, that's a poor shot. I don't know whether he got a heavy contact. Maybe he did get a bad kick there.
Yeah, I think he did, Dennis. It didn't sound right. It was definitely a jump. It sounded like two rocks being hit together, didn't it, that one? Good comeback.
57.
Very good comeback under the circumstances. You start to wonder whether it really isn't going to be your day in any sense when you get a kick like that at a vital stage. Interesting choice of shot, playing to the middle pocket, fairly narrow, but right behind it is okay, and this
63.
with any colour will be frame ball.
$64.
So he's made a century, he's made a 62. And now he's made another 60 plus break.
70.
Break goes to 70, no century available.
72.
So I think Mark Selby, although he's still going to have a 7 frame advantage, might not be taking any more risky shots like the one in the previous frame, or this frame rather.
75.
Nowhere near the brown, but that doesn't matter. That was a good effort from the 7 times former world champion. That break of 75 gives him the frame, although he's still a long way back. 10-3. Well, Stevens at the table, ready for the break-off shot.
It's still possible this session and match could be over before we get to the last part of it. He could win in 2 sessions if he wins all 3 frames here, Mark Selby. As for Stephen, if he's got any hope of winning it, he has to win all 3 frames. I think 10-6 is the cut-off point, really. We did see a turnaround last year of 11-5. Neil Robertson was that far behind against Martin Gould and won, but it doesn't happen all that often. So he's got to reel off the remaining frames. And he's certainly erred on the side of caution there. It wasn't close. It's always the way on this shot. A player will always make sure they don't overdo it first time, but he missed the red by quite a way on 2 cushions.
That's near enough right. That's where it was. So we're about right. So can he get the little escape here? And that was the problem, as Neil said. If you hit it too thick, you're going to stick one up.
A complete difference to the first time, and it's amazing really how you make the slight alteration, but occasionally the shot comes out completely different. There's only fractions that you need to change. Well, the middle pocket is where he's taking this red. And it'll be a little tickle up behind the yellow with position not on for the blue, which is what he played on the blue.
LB1.
So that's even though he's got a snooker, it wasn't what Mark was looking for at all there. It was an early chance actually. It's gone begging.
Well, he's so tight to the cushion, or to the yellow I mean, he's got to go twice across the table, you would feel. Not the best. He hasn't missed many of these type of shots. And the red next to the black does pot.
One.
Beautifully controlled. He won't be going into the bunch just yet. They're a bit awkward, but that was a first-class pot and a first-class cannon on the red. Just play for the loose red at the moment. There's a couple of loose reds that he can play for before he has to go into them.
8.
And not a bad pack to go into, because there is one red at the back that will be available if he can get the right angle in a couple of shots' time.
9.
Well, that's a very attacking shot from Stephen Hendry. That's
15.
a beauty he's pulled out here. Lots of side.
16.
And all of a sudden he's looking very good here. So he is far from finished.
I suppose he's just thinking he's got to attack the balls, because he was getting outplayed in just about every department, not only the scoring, but he was giving the odd chance to Mark. So
23.
now why not have a go for a few, a bit like the Henry of old. You know, of course, in his early days,
24.
when he first won the World Championship, was a phenomenal long potter and scorer. The safety and tactical side didn't really come into it very much. So at this stage, why not just play shots like he did on that pink? Free his arms and just see what happens.
$32.
Didn't quite get enough spin on that. He's still got one red he can take into the left corner.
40.
Needs a good kiss here, and he's got it. It's not all that bad. He holds his hand up, but he needs a bit of good run. Now, if he can get on the pink in such a way, he can then go into the 4 reds.
$45.
Well, one good shot here, and he could take this frame also. In fact, those 2 reds are available. Didn't have to cannon into them.
51.
One of them will definitely pot, maybe both of them. And there you see.
Definitely more freedom in his game
52.
in the last couple of frames, in that he probably knows he hasn't played that badly. Not really. His opponent has made 5 century breaks, and sometimes you have to just shrug your shoulders and say he's at the top of his game. So it also means that your confidence isn't as low as it could be when a player trails as heavily as Hendry has been.
60.
He looks now like he's almost just enjoying it, possibly in the losing cause, but you just never know. If he can get to 10-6 somehow, that will change things.
Just played for the single red, because that's all he will need.
66.
Sorry. Mark Selby won't start to panic just yet, but he did miss a red in this frame that he hadn't missed anything like that throughout the match. This was the one. He's been eating those up throughout this match.
Well, a little, almost a body swerve there, trying to get the cannon for Stephen, and if this goes in, then there's a chance of a century back. He had one early on in the match in frame 2, break of 108, but it's not going to be a century break, but it's enough for Mark Selby to concede, and Stephen Hendry has pulled another frame back, and with a nice break there of 74, he trails 10 frames to 4. It's safe to say that Stephen has gone for plan B, and that is he was getting completely outplayed, but in the last 2 frames he's attacked more. May have had a chance to win this frame if he wasn't unlucky, but even that last safety shot that he played, I just feel that he's really trying to spread the balls and take a risk. And barring some bad luck, he could have pulled another frame back. As it happens, Selby in with a really good chance to pile on more agony.
Six.
Wanting to get the black back onto its spot, but he wanted to be nearer the cushion than this. Okay, he's got quite a reach as Mark. And a slight angle also.
$13. $14. 20.
It really is one of these chances that you dream of, with the reds spread far and wide. And in the kind of form he's been in,
21.
and all those century breaks, you don't really see him missing unless just something extraordinary happens. You can never take the game for granted. Anything can be missed, but you wouldn't fancy him to miss from here. Not in his current form.
28.
Yes, I think in amongst the balls he's fine, but he did miss a red in the previous frame, comfortable red, and then he missed quite an easy brown and had that unbelievable stroke of good fortune. But in amongst the balls he hasn't looked like missing.
You have to remember the good luck you get in a match, because it's easy to forget that when things go wrong. You think the world's against you. I remember years ago I played Cliff in a match, Dennis, and he had absolutely no luck at all. And he didn't blink, he didn't show any emotion. And I said to him, he did well there, and he said, well, I don't think I'm very unlucky. I fluked to it and made a 147. I have to remember that. It's a good way of thinking, isn't it? You have to remember the good things. And Mark certainly has some good luck in this frame.
And the hotel we're staying in still has
44.
that an unbelievable piece of work. Every single shot that Cliff Thorburn played when he made his maximum break is up on the wall of the hotel. It's quite a piece of art, I can tell you.
45.
Yes, it was on this side, wasn't it, of the auditorium. You can still see Cliff potting the black and dropping to his knees. Fantastic. It's what we love about the Crucible, isn't it? All the history that's here. There's some great matches and great events.
Yes, and everybody remembers another Canadian who sadly is no longer with us, Big Bill Werbenick, with a sort of a curly hairstyle at the time, just peeping around the curtain. He knew there was something special happening to his good friend on the next table.
51.
Meanwhile, as we suspected, Mark Selby is scoring heavily from what was a golden chance. Close to closing out this frame.
56.
The red and anything after that will do.
Well, no one has ever made 6 centuries in a best of 25 frame match. Mark Selby already has 5. He's done it on 3 occasions now. There's 5 other players have made 5 centuries in a best of 25 frame match.
64.
There's a possibility of a little bit of history here, but it's going to be difficult with the red near the side cushion. The frame is safe. He can concentrate and make that 6th century. I'm not sure if he would know that, but he's got an angle now to move the difficult red. If he pots this, flicks the red out, you would expect him to be on the pink or blue, depending on the cannon. Played beautifully. We could see a little bit of Crucible history, well, snooker history. No reason why he shouldn't do it now.
78.
Almost in the realms of Hendry style scoring. I remember the UK final against Ken Doherty where he made 7 centuries in
79.
a match. You know, this is the opponent he's up against.
Stephen made 5 centuries in 7 frames against Ken Doherty, and he made 7 centuries in the 10 frames that he won.
Yeah, and it's kind of ironic that he's having it done back to him here.
So maybe that record we mentioned, the stats we have are just for the last 10 years.
Right, it wasn't here, was it? It was in the UK.
85. 90.
Yeah, those stats we gave you were, as Neil said, just about the crucible.
92.
And he won't be thinking about it, but if he does make the century, he will equal the record of centuries made in a season. And who holds that record? That man that's watching here. Amazing display from Mark Selby. Quite remarkable. That is Mark Selby's 6th century break. It's the 39th of this year's World Championship. He had a lot of good luck, and then Stephen Hendry opened the balls up, and he had to sit and watch this from Mark Selby. Superb from the jester from Leicester. His 6th century in this match. That is quite incredible, and he extends his lead now to 11 frames to 4. Oh, that was a good shot at that pace. And even then he didn't get the right side of the blue, but he couldn't have hit it much harder without the red wobbling in the jaws. One good positional shot, and he takes this last frame that he badly needs.
He's just checked the scores, and playing with topspin, so he's just got to make sure he doesn't go into the yellow around 2 cushions here. The yellow was away from its spot, which was handy, but he really has got hold of that. If anything, a little bit too much. Good shot though. Frame ball will be the next red.
It's been a fabulous session of snooker, it really has. It's not quite over yet. There's final frame of this second session. Just needed this red and the frame was safe.
It's been a strange old session actually, in that Stephen's not played too badly at all. Not had the best of luck, I don't think, if I'm honest, and Mark has either made a century or he's missed one or two. He's had one frame where he made 80. It's not been flawless snooker like that. There's been a few of those. It's either been a century or not much else. You look at the scores and you say, look, he's made 600s, he's unbeatable. Not quite.
Those 2 reds by the pink are in a good position from Stephen Hendry's point of view. Well, the pink has gone and joined those reds. There's 3 reds in the pink that are safe. There's a gap through to the one that's over the pocket. You'd want to be going into those reds and pink off the blue. If he can get onto the blue, almost pulled a trick shot off there. Let's see how he plays this. He's gone a bit too far. He wanted to leave a half ball blue to screw into the reds. He's going to have to do it off possibly the brown. He's got a long way to travel though, and he's got to go close to the middle pocket if he's going to get into the pink and reds. That's the angle he could get into the pink and reds from. Oh, a nice little double kiss there.
5.
And a little shake of the head from Stephen. I tell you, he hasn't had much luck in this session, and while it was a great shot, it was hard to see how he could finish on the red but for that double kiss.
6.
I guess a little bit of good fortune goes with the player who is in the best form. It's always the way. Now, here's another chance, and this time that was nothing but a good shot.
14.
From absolutely nowhere. This is the frame that he could pinch, drag out of the fire, whatever you want to call it, because it didn't seem when he came to the table that he was going anywhere. Those reds all tangled up by the pink. Within a couple of shots that situation has changed altogether.
It would be some clearance though. The other red's still safe, but if he gets an angle on the black he could bring it into play. Oh, he's missed it. As soon as he hit the cushion it was never going to drop.
21.
So a reprieve for Stephen Hendry. As soon as you touch the cushion they don't drop.
Yeah, it just bounced immediately, didn't it? So
1.
it's been a very good session, as Dennis pointed out. Marcus, well, he certainly started off in the kind of form that he finished yesterday's session. Stephen, though, has played with a bit more freedom since then. I think at the point where it was 10-2 he was kind of resigned to the fact that he was in so much trouble in the match, and he just put his cue through a few, and lots went in. Luck didn't necessarily go his way, but he never stops battling.
Stephen Hendry 8.
He had a look up at the commentary box there. He felt the red at the last second just drifted away from the pocket.
Talk of the player never stopped battling. Why on earth is Mark Selby carrying on here? 48 behind. I mean, okay, the balls are in good positions, but this is strange that he's carrying on in the final frame of the session. I know he doesn't give up, but this would be a frame that would come from nowhere.
I think it's because the way the balls are situated, they're perfectly placed for snookers.
And lots of them.
It's only 4, Neil.
Yeah, what's 4 snookers between pals, eh? Well, it's 2 snookers and a free ball and whatever you could name.
Well, it's a four-long conclusion. Stephen Hendry's going to take this last frame.
There is a snooker. Well, that tells me something. The white, or the red that Stephen Hendry played down the other side of the table, come away from the pocket. Stephen's smiling. The white went down that
opposite side of the table, and it clung to the cushion and went in. And he's got another snooker. Tables are usually levelled or checked after each session, but I always found at the Crucible Theatre that the ball always turned to the crowd. It was amazing, but of course the floor has been changed at the Crucible, so it shouldn't make any difference. And all of a sudden,
Mark Selby.
just a couple of snookers needed.
Amazing, isn't it? You know, most players I think would have turned it in 48 behind on one red, but I suppose it was, as you said at the time, it was the position of the balls that made him carry on. As I say, other players would have been happy to just go off for something to eat now and reflect on the session. Not Mark, he's still battling, and if he could play a good one here, then maybe he's got a chance still. Well, that's a snooker, but you would assume that Stephen will hit this all right, one cushion.
I think he can get enough side on this, going up past the yellow to get out of the snooker, having to swerve it slightly. Now Stephen's playing for snookers. This match will be played to a conclusion tomorrow afternoon. Starts at 1 o'clock. He hasn't fluked a snooker, surely. Stephen's smiling away. He can't believe what's happening here. Even the referee's having a little smile. He can't believe it. And Mark taps him on the shoulder on the way past, which won't make Stephen feel all that great.
No, he's had a few jokes, but I don't think he was quite as amused as Mark thought, was he, about that one? He doesn't want to slip past this one, otherwise it will be a slight concern. He's made contact. Was an out-and-out fluke, the shot that Mark played, and I just think Stephen feels that he's been unfortunate during the session. I don't think anyone could argue that the run of the ball has gone with Mark.
See, the yellow and blue are in a perfect position to get snookers behind, and that's why, as I mentioned at the time, Mark carried on, needing 4 snookers. Oh, that'll help Stephen, sending the black onto the side cushion. Stephen could spend the next 10 minutes knocking all the colours onto cushions, and then there's no way he can get a snooker. Well, what a shot he's played here. What a snooker that is. One cushion escape just past the black. And he's got to get out of this, because if he doesn't hit the red, he's going to be snookered again with the position of the yellow and blue. So this is a must hit. Well played. Now is he going to try and get in behind this pink? He is, and I'll tell you what, it's a pretty good effort. This is an excellent effort. Oh, misses the pink on the way up. He's tight in behind it. He's having a joke with Stephen. What does Stephen say? Pick the bones out of that, Mark.
I know, but Mark just threw his hands up in the air in mock disappointment, as if he's had no luck. I think that was quite funny of him. He does like a laugh, and he's got to get out of a snooker this time himself.
He does like a laugh. That's why they call him the jester from Leicester.
I suppose he can't really concede, because he played on. He's already got 8 points back from the earlier situation, so he will carry on despite that. But it's 46 the difference, and all the good work of a few minutes ago is now gone. I think Stephen is kind of hoping this frame will end. I think his concentration is quite what it was, because this has gone on quite some time now on this last red. Playing 12 minutes since the red was potted. The ball was potted, that is. But he has got another snooker. Well, he's not going to leave a free ball. That's one good thing from Stephen's perspective. But it is an interesting table in that, with all those colours in the middle, there's a huge target to get a snooker behind.
Will he try and snick this red in? May get a snooker if he doesn't. But those colours are perfectly placed for snookers. They really are. Mark needed 4 snookers. He got 2 of the snookers. Then he played a foul. Now he's back. He was back needing 3 snookers. He's got another one, and he's still battling away in this final frame of this session. And look at the colours, how they're situated to get snookers.
Well, yeah, but Stephen's got this red now to put it to bed, and there's been a few laughs and jokes between them. I think Stephen has got a little bit fed up, to be honest with you. I think he feels he's won the frame, and Mark's carrying on. Every right to do so, and as you say, I think the reason he's done it is that those balls in the middle of the table, there's a huge shield almost he can get behind. Doesn't really want to pot this red. I mean, the last thing he would want to do, but he doesn't give up. It always reminds me of Steve Davis in that respect. He was always like that, wasn't he? He was a murder when it comes to getting snookers and winning frames off of you.
And I think Steve has conceded quite a few times when 4 snookers were needed against him, but Stephen meanwhile has got to be careful here that this red doesn't plant the black into the corner pocket.
I think that would just about make his day if that happened, wouldn't it, Dennis? He's not had a lot of luck in the session, has to be said, and you feel that he'll be snookered again after this.
It's amazing, and now the black has blocked that pocket slightly, so he can play the snooker knowing that he can't leave the red on. Well, we've had just about everything in this session. We had the century breaks, and Stephen has got to make sure he hits this.
Yeah, I wonder if there's enough balls in the way here for that red. All those colours making no chance. Look at that. 2 balls in the way, everything in the middle of the table. Swerve onto the cushion, played slowly.
Too much?
Yeah.
Far too much stuff on it.
Foul.
And another chance to get a snooker. An amazing frame, this.
And he wants one more snooker now, would you believe? And with the black there, if he does get it, he can pot the black comfortably. So all of a sudden, this could be a miracle frame.
And that's the snooker. He should escape from this. Off the side cushion, but the left side of the table would be easier. He looked at the right side, that was more difficult, just below the middle pocket.
Just a few shots ago when all the snookers were needed, there was a lot of laughing and joking, which has stopped for the moment, hasn't it? This is a frame that could somehow go against him.
He was a bit laughing and joking, even the referee joined in. They were fluking snookers against each other. But it's pretty serious, as Neil Fogle said, and once again it's so easy to get the snooker with the balls sitting as they are, but he shouldn't really miss this. 2 cushion, get out. He might even fluke a snooker back here if he makes the correct contact on the red.
I suppose you could always go around the back of this, but like you say, he should hit it. He doesn't want to miss it for sure, otherwise he could easily lose a frame. Oh, can you believe it? That was always a possibility. And all of a sudden, he's not even favourite to win the frame. Unbelievable.
Well, it's quite, as we say, a remarkable frame. I think there was maybe a frame many years ago where John Spencer needed 5 snookers and he come back somehow and won it, but When you left us, I'd said, well, there's just no way back in this frame for Mark Selby, and here he is, favourite to take this last frame and only need one.
I think when we were left, there might have been another frame left on to play on the other match. In the meantime, we've still had this 18 minutes since the last ball was potted, but in that time there's been a lot of fiendishly difficult snookers to hit, and now Mark doesn't need any, but he does need the black with this. That's the first step. So red, black, and then black to yellow. Stephen is far from amused now.
One.
And he's going to have to use the rest, but there is an angle to get back for the yellow if he can judge it. This is the key shot. That's the angle he's looking at to get on the yellow. Not quite as far as the end of the line, but along that line somewhere. That's just about perfect.
8.
Well, if anything, he's just a fraction too far. I mean, it's not bad. He'd like to have been a few inches short of that because he could have just run in behind the green. I'm not sure if he's going into the blue from here. Might be just off straight. And he wouldn't want to push the blue safe if he's got a cannon it. No, that's a very nice shot indeed. Well, just when you think you've seen it all at this game, Dennis, you realise that there's always something new there.
But he is one of the best in the business at knowing the angles, as Mark Selby, and he's pulled off some cracking snookers.
Yeah, I mean, it does show his resilience as a player. We know how well he scored. He's made 6 centuries in the match, but his safety is up there as well. I mean, he's almost the complete player now.
Well, this Crucible crowd would love to see a Stephen Hendry comeback. They thought he'd won this frame, but it'll be interesting to see the applause for this remarkable win in this frame. Stephen, well, he just can't believe it, but he has seen everything there is to see in the game of snooker, but I bet he can't believe he's lost this frame.
No, I mean, he scored 76 points in this frame. This is absolutely something else. And it's his never say die attitude that has taken him there.
28. Thank you.
Well, that's a remarkable frame of snooker and a fantastic session, and certainly Mark Selby is smiling the most of the two players. They're having a chat, but have you ever seen anything like that? And Mark Selby now needs one frame in the remaining session of this match. He leads Stephen Hendry 12-4. Amazing stuff.
Amazing indeed, and we'll bring you the conclusion of that match, plus more action from the Crucible when we're back on BBC Two at 3 PM. But for now, good night.